Chiefs Kingdom, stop scrolling right now. Arrowhead just lit up with breaking news, and one number is already on the table: 9. 9 players missing from practice as the Chiefs prep for Seattle, and Patrick Mahomes' preseason status hangs on exactly which names get cleared first. Here's the first payoff. Andy Reid just confirmed a key starter is finally returning to the field. A rookie running back is turning heads too, and a surprising roster cut just shook the wide receiver room. If you bleed red and gold more than you trust Buffalo, hit like and subscribe right now. We start with the injury update that could decide if Mahomes even plays Friday. Stay locked, there's a double cliffhanger at the end. 9 names on the injury report. 9 players held out of a normal Monday practice. Andy Reid rattled them off one by one like he was reading a regular season Wednesday update. And Chiefs Kingdom held its breath waiting for the 10th name that never came. The name missing from that list? Trey Smith. And that absence is actually the best news you'll hear all week. Here's exactly what Reid said when he ran through the injury report. Jeff Caldwell will be out. Jack Cochrane is doing better with the knee but stays out. Shamari Connor is out, getting better. Ashton Gillott won't practice. Alohi Gilman won't practice after a lower back spasm in warm-ups. CJ Hansen won't practice, a brand new and still undisclosed injury. Jimmy Holiday won't practice. Chris Oladokin is actually in the concussion protocol after showing symptoms the following day. Josh Simmons is dealing with a lower back issue, and Tyreek Smith is nursing the hamstring he tweaked during the game. Everybody else, Reid said, will go ahead and practice. Read between the lines there. Trey Smith, the starting right guard who has missed multiple weeks with a hip injury, wasn't on that list at all, which means he's finally back on the practice field as the Chiefs gear up for Friday's preseason finale against the Seahawks. Reid confirmed it directly, telling reporters that Smith will return to practice this week after seeing a specialist and letting the hip fully heal instead of rushing back. Trey loves to play, Reid said, but it was important that he let that thing heal up like he did, and I think it'll pay off for him down the road. That's the kind of quote that tells you the organization is thinking about Week 1, not meaningless preseason snaps against a team that doesn't count in the standings. Reid isn't making any promises about Smith actually suiting up Friday though. Well, we'll see, Reid said. See how he does today. Ease him back in, but he wants to get out there and get going. Been killing him not to be out there, so he's kind of wired that way. Here's why this matters way beyond one offensive lineman. Smith's availability alongside left tackle Josh Simmons is directly tied to whether Patrick Mahomes even sees the field in preseason week 3 at all. Think about the protection math. Mahomes doesn't take live snaps behind a patchwork line, not with a Super Bowl window still open and every rep in September counting for real. If your starting right guard and a key tackle piece aren't full go, there's a rumor building inside the building, according to people close to the coaching staff, that Reid holds all 3, Smith, Simmons, and Mahomes, out entirely and targets a clean week 1 return instead of risking anything in a meaningless exhibition against Seattle. That would be the smart, disciplined move for a team that has learned the hard way what a preseason injury can cost a championship-caliber roster. Smith himself has been fighting to get back out there the whole time. Reid's own words paint the picture of a guy who hates sitting, which says plenty about the leadership already established in that locker room even during a rebuilding stretch on the offensive line. Do you think Andy Reid sits Mahomes and Trey Smith for the entire preseason finale? Or does Mahomes get a handful of snaps Friday night at Arrowhead? Drop your prediction below. And if you trust Reid's medical caution over risking anything before week 1 truly matters, smash that like button right now. But while the offensive line quietly gets healthy again, a rookie running back just gave this fanbase a reason to get genuinely excited about the backfield. And his own new position coach isn't holding back on what he saw. Stay locked. 2 losses in a row to open the preseason. That's not exactly the story Chiefs Kingdom wanted heading toward week 1. But bury the scoreboard for a second, because one rookie just gave this fanbase the single most encouraging highlight of the entire summer, and his new position coach isn't shy about saying so. The player? 5th-round rookie running back Emmett Johnson. And the man praising him carries some serious weight of his own. Here's the tape. Against the Los Angeles Rams, Johnson carried the ball 12 times for 59 yards, breaking tackles and showing off a rare combination of explosiveness and a genuine willingness to seek out contact instead of running away from it. Then against Tampa Bay, he did it again, scoring the Chiefs' only touchdown of that entire preseason game. 2 games, 2 flashes, exactly the kind of debut you dream about from a rookie who's expected to actually contribute in 2026, not just fill out a training camp roster. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. According to A to Z Sports insider Charles Goldman, new Chiefs running backs coach DeMarco Murray broke down Johnson's performance in detail after that debut, and he didn't just hand out empty praise. He ran the ball physically, behind his pads, had some versatility in the passing game as well, Murray said. Have to clean up some footwork and route depth. He'll clean those up. For the most part, I was happy with how he played. That's coaching. Real, specific, constructive coaching. Crediting the physical toughness while immediately pointing out the technical details that separate a good rookie season from a great one. Chiefs fans have been starving for exactly this kind of voice on the staff. For the last 2 seasons, there was a comfort level without enough youth or accountability pushing the room. And even Eric Bieniemy's presence needed a partner willing to be the other half of that equation. Murray, alongside a refreshed group of position coaches, is finally giving Andy Reid's player-friendly approach a real counterbalance. Think about what this means for the backfield as a whole. Last season, an aging Kareem Hunt led the Chiefs in rushing with just 611 yards, averaging well below 4 yards per carry behind a running back room that was both injury-prone and thin on real talent. That's not a formula for a championship offense. Bringing in Murray to completely remake that room, paired with a rookie already flashing both power and burst through 2 preseason games, is a legitimate upgrade that could inject real juice into this offense heading into the fall. There's a rumor inside the building that Johnson has already climbed the depth chart faster than the coaching staff originally projected, and if that holds, this backfield looks completely different than it did back in minicamp. Remember, Emari Demercado's late preseason debut already raised questions about how Kansas City plans to split this backfield workload, and a rookie forcing his way into the conversation only complicates that math further in the best possible way for a team that needed juice at the position. Reid loves a workhorse he can trust in short yardage, and if Johnson keeps cleaning up those route details Murray flagged, there's a real path to a legitimate role by mid-season instead of just camp depth. Do you think Emmett Johnson ends up the Chiefs' leading rusher by mid-season? Or does the veteran room still control the workload early on while he earns more trust? Drop your prediction below. And if you're excited about the accountability DeMarco Murray is bringing to Arrowhead, smash that like button right now. But while the backfield gets a jolt of new energy, the wide receiver room just lost a name that had Chiefs Kingdom buzzing all offseason, cut loose in a move nobody expected this late in camp. Stay locked, a perfect athletic score. That's not an exaggeration, that's a literal number, 10.0. A historic combination of size, strength, and speed that draft analysts couldn't stop talking about all spring. And now, days before the roster deadline, that same player just got waived. The name? Jeff Caldwell. And the timing tells you everything about how ruthless this final stretch of camp has become. Here's how it went down. The Chiefs announced the move on the Monday before the league's deadline to trim rosters to 53 players, waiving wide receiver Jeff Caldwell with an injury designation to clear a roster spot for defensive end Niles King. Caldwell joined Kansas City as a rookie free agent out of Cincinnati, and his testing numbers were the stuff of scouting department legend. A relative athletic score of 10.0, meaning historic measurables for a receiver of his exact size, strength, and speed profile. Draft analysts flagged him as a potential steal for landing that kind of upside without spending a single pick on him. But testing numbers don't catch footballs, and production was always the question mark hovering over Caldwell's profile. He played just 1 season at Cincinnati after transferring from a much smaller program, Lindenwood, and his stat line there was almost aggressively average for a player generating this much pre-draft buzz. 32 catches, 478 yards, 6 touchdowns. The Chiefs gave him a full spring and summer to translate that athleticism into real football skill, but he never quite turned the corner in either minicamp or training camp. Then the injury hit, keeping him out for several days, and he failed to play at all in last Saturday's preseason loss to Tampa Bay. That absence, at exactly the wrong moment with the roster deadline bearing down, made the decision easy for the coaching staff. By waiving him instead of releasing him outright, the Chiefs are technically risking losing Caldwell to another team's waiver claim. But if he clears, which is plausible given the injury designation, Kansas City retains the option to stash him on injured reserve for the year. Now here's the flip side of this move. Niles King, the defensive end brought in to replace that roster spot, went undrafted out of San Diego State this spring after transferring in from Grand Valley State. His numbers jump off the page too, 10 tackles for loss and 6.5 sacks in his lone season with the Aztecs, following an absurd 20 sacks across 34 games back at Grand Valley State. The Athletics' Dane Brugler had King rated as the 65th best defensive end available in this year's class, respectable depth for a team that's suddenly thinner than it would like up front. With Ashton Gillott and Tyreek Smith both banged up and unavailable right now, the Chiefs are genuinely short-handed at the position, and King's presence gives the coaching staff one more real look at a prospect before Friday's preseason finale against Seattle even kicks off. It's a low-risk, high-value swing this late in camp, a proven undrafted pass rusher for a receiver whose ceiling never showed up on tape when it mattered most. That's exactly the kind of roster math a front office has to run with the deadline this close. Upside on paper doesn't get to outweigh actual football production once the games start counting for real. Do you think Jeff Caldwell's athletic profile gets him claimed by another team looking for a project, or does he end up back on Kansas City's injured reserve for the year instead? Drop your take below. And if you think this roster is finally deep enough to survive a move like this without blinking, smash that like button right now. 3 stories, 1 roster getting sharper by the hour, and Friday night at Arrowhead is going to answer a lot of questions. 3 stories, 1 roster tightening up right before your eyes. A starting guard finally healing up ahead of a Mahomes decision. A rookie running back turning heads under a coach who demands more, and a former hype machine receiver watching his Chiefs career quietly end. This is what championship roster management looks like. Chiefs Kingdom. Patient with the medical decisions, brutally honest with the production decisions. Here's the bigger picture. If Trey Smith and Josh Simmons are truly right by week 1, this offensive line protects Mahomes the way it needs to for another deep run. If Emmett Johnson keeps developing under DeMarco Murray, this backfield stops being a weakness and starts being a weapon. Buffalo and the rest of the AFC can lose back-to-back preseason games all they want. This team is building toward September, not August. Here's what I need from Chiefs Kingdom. 1. Smash that like button if you trust Andy Reid's medical caution over risking anything before week 1. 2. Drop a comment with your prediction. Does Emmett Johnson become a real factor by mid-season? 3. Subscribe right now because every subscriber makes Buffalo fans furious watching this dynasty retool in real time. But listen close, the cliff isn't over. Friday's finale against Seattle is still coming, and there's a rumor that at least 1 more surprising name gets cut before that kickoff. Who's next on the chopping block? That story drops soon. Chiefs Kingdom stands together, and Buffalo doesn't stand a chance. See you in the next war.